I've done videos like this one prior to the last couple of transfer windows, looking at 7 pre-arranged permanent deals that will happen once the window reopens, but this one seems particularly apt. Not just because a few people have requested it in recent weeks, but also because the lack of football on our TVs means that transfer news is just about all some football obsessives have to go on at the moment. If you are a football obsessive that doesn't yet subscribe to HITC Sevens, then there's never been a better time to get on board, as we look to quench your quarantine-based footballing thirsts with daily uploads looking at topics as varied as the rise and fall of Angie Mahachkala, the question of whether footballers ought to be taking pay cuts at the moment, and this video today. Before I get started, there are far more than 7 pre-arranged summer transfers. I've just selected a random and hopefully interesting handful for your viewing pleasure. If this video proves to be popular and the demand is there, I would be more than happy to make a part 2 or even part 3. Here are 7 pre-arranged summer transfers. Yan Couto, Manchester City. If there is one area in which Pep Guardiola hasn't messed about with since arriving at Manchester City, it has been the 2 fullback positions. The 4 fullbacks who were at the club when Guardiola arrived, namely Bakary Sagna, Pablo Zabaleta, Gael Clichy and Alexander Kolarov, were all sold or released in Pep's second summer in charge of the club. Meanwhile, vast resources were tapped into in order to bring Kyle Walker, Benjamin Mendy and Danilo into the club during the same window for a combined total of £120 million. Of the 3, only really Walker has consistently performed at the Etihad, with Danilo having been sold to Juventus and replaced by João Cancelo. Meanwhile, Mendy has been plagued by injuries. Guardiola already appears to be looking towards the future with his fullback options, and last month, the citizens confirmed the signing of 17-year-old right-back Yan Couto in a deal that will be completed in July. Currently contracted to Curitiba in Brazil, Couto has made 25 appearances for Brazil's under-17s, earning plaudits particularly for his deliveries into the box. As his reputation in the youth team grew, there were lots of speculation linking Couto with the move to Barcelona, but in the end, it was the Barcelona legend in the form of Pep Guardiola who managed to sign the teenager. Couto has penned a 4-year deal at the Etihad, arriving for around £5 million. Francisco Trincao, Barcelona. Barcelona may have missed out on the signing of Brazilian boy wonder Yan Couto, but they weren't to be beaten to the punch when it came to young Braga forward Francisco Trincao. When football clubs began hearing reports of a talented young footballer coming out of Portugal who was taller than 6 foot, could play on either flank, and had bags of flair, they could be forgiven for having some deja vu to the early reports surrounding one of the greatest footballers of all time. Comparisons with Cristiano Ronaldo may be a tad premature, Trincao is left-footed for a start, but there's no doubt the 20-year-old has some serious potential. He was the joint top scorer at the 2018 Under-19 Euros along with Diogo Jota as Portugal were crowned as champions, which came just a few months after Trincao broke into the Braga first team. An incredibly gifted footballer, Trincao isn't lightning quick, but he's intelligent, composed and elegant on the ball. One of a couple of pre-arranged Barcelona signings ahead of the summer, Trincao impressed Barcelona so much that they agreed to pay more than €30 million for the uncapped wide man, who is yet to hit 10 league goals for Braga. Trincao's approach to the game means he is a Barca player in waiting, but he'll become an actual Barcelona player in July 2020. Helder Costa, Leeds United. The second Portuguese winger in this 7, Helder Costa, is already on loan at his future club Leeds United. One of a number of Portuguese imports to Wolverhampton following the club's takeover by Fossen International, Costa initially joined Wolves in 2016 on loan from Benfica. During that season, Costa scored 12 goals and made 8 assists, picking up the club's Player of the Year award. He joined the Championship side on a permanent deal worth more than £13 million, but he tore his ankle ligaments early in his second campaign and never quite returned to the fine form he had displayed in his first season. Last summer, Costa joined Leeds United on loan in a deal set to become a permanent move in 12 months' time for £15 million. When Leeds bought Costa in on loan, I thought he would be the last piece in the jigsaw for Marcelo Bielsa, bringing a touch of magic to Ellen Road and the ability to decide games on his own. I must admit, I was a little underwhelmed with his impact in the first half of the season, but he has been much improved between Christmas and the current EFL season being suspended. Perhaps it has just taken the once-capped 26-year-old a little bit of time to understand his role and responsibilities at Leeds United, and there are still lots of reasons to be optimistic about Costa for Leeds fans. His move, like most in this 7, will be completed in July 2020. Simone Verdi, Torino. The second player in this 7 currently on loan at the team they will join in the summer, Simone Verdi, has had an up-down career, hence why I thought he was worthy of an inclusion. The Lombardy native came through the youth ranks at AC Milan, where teammates nicknamed him Verdinho for his perceived Brazilian style of play. Verdi only registered 2 appearances in the Rossoneri's first team before he departed for Torino in a co-ownership deal. Following stints on loan at Juve Stabia and Empoli, AC Milan and Torino were unable to amicably reach a solution with regards to Verdi's future. As such, his future was determined by a blind auction which his boyhood club won. Verdi returned to the San Siro, but this time he didn't play a single game, going out on loan to Eibar and Carpi. Verdi joined Bologna in 2016, where he had 2 impressive seasons, winning his first caps for Italy and earning a move to Napoli. After just 1 season at Napoli, the Serie A side decided to let Verdi leave for a €3 million loss. Verdi sealed a €3 million return to Torino on loan, with the club carrying an obligation to sign the versatile forward on a permanent basis for a further €20 million next summer. Technically gifted and a threat from range, Verdi hasn't shown his best form for Torino this season, and even the Torino owner, Urbano Caro, said that he overpaid for the 27-year-old, which must have done wonders for his confidence. Jordan Veretout, Roma. Jordan Veretout has come an awfully long way since a disappointing relegation season at Aston Villa, and in the summer he will join Roma for €19 million in addition to the €1 million the Serie A side paid to take him on loan this season. Veretout made his name with Nantes in Ligue 1 before being snapped up by Premier League managerial mastermind Tim Sherwood, who, when asked what qualities Veretout would bring to Villa Park, responded by saying that he was, quote, very highly rated over in France, end quote. Veretout was highly rated in France, but he wasn't so highly rated in Birmingham, and he was soon sent back to France on loan. A hard-working jack of all trades in the middle of the park, Veretout can play anywhere from deep in a holding role to much further forward as an advanced playmaker or number 10. He left Villa on a permanent deal for Fiorentina in 2017 for only a minor loss, and 2 seasons in Florence was enough to attract the interest of Roma. Veretout previously starred in France's youth teams in a midfield 3 alongside Paul Pogba and Geoffrey Kondogbia, and if he can continue impressing the Italian capital, he might not be far off winning his first senior cap at the age of 27. Alexander Nubel, Bayern Munich. Back in 2011, Bayern Munich signed a talented 25-year-old goalkeeper from Schalke. That move turned out to be a pretty shrewd one by the Bavarians, so they haven't waited as long to strike this time out. Like Manuel Neuer, Alexander Nubel is a 6'4" shot stopper who loves to command his area and isn't afraid to venture outside of his 6-yard box. Whilst Neuer was 25 when he arrived at the Allianz Arena from Schalke, Nubel is only 23, and thanks to the brilliance of Neuer and Marc-Andre ter Stegen, he is yet to win his first cap under Joachim Löw. Nubel has made close to 50 appearances for Schalke though, and he has exhibited all the qualities one would want in a young number 1. It is a stomach-churning situation for Schalke, who will lose Nubel at the end of the season for nothing. Having nurtured Nubel since his arrival at the club from Paderborn, aged 18, the keeper informed the club that he wouldn't be extending his deal at the Veltins Arena last year, and in January he confirmed that he'd agreed a deal with Bayern Munich. For Bayern, it is yet another incredible piece of business, and the 23-year-old could well one day be the best goalkeeper in the world. Hakim Ziyech, Chelsea. One of the best pre-arranged moves ahead of next summer has to be Chelsea's acquisition of Moroccan international Hakim Ziyech. Ziyech is a player whose praises I've been singing ever since I started this channel, the best part of 3 years ago, and he's continued to improve since then. Almost perennially the most creative player in the Eredivisie, Ziyech is a class act, and the only real surprise is that Ajax have been able to hang on to him for so long. The former FC Twente star arrived in Amsterdam in 2016, and he has made the Eredivisie Team of the Year in each of his 3 seasons at the Johan Cruyff Arena. Perfectly at home out wide or in central midfield, Ziyech does his best work in a number 10 role, picking up pockets of space and slicing the opposition open. His touch, technique and vision are second to none in the Dutch game, and Ziyech has topped the Eredivisie assist charts on 4 occasions. His departure was a matter of when and who to rather than if, and I must admit I was surprised that it only took a bid of €40 million for Frank Lampard to get him to the bridge. Chelsea have a whole raft of central midfielders and wingers, but no one quite like Ziyech. He should bring a touch of craft and guile to the Blues starting 11, and even if he ends up costing them €44 million due to add-ons, if he brings his best form, he'll prove to be a wise addition. That's it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. I hope you're all keeping safe. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and obviously make sure you are subscribed to HITC Sevens.